Welcome back, it's 9, and today I got another PS5 video for you guys. As you know, reviews have gone up, and we have so many questions, and fortunately, I have so many answers for you guys. I'm not going to tell you what we're talking about because I'm just going to put timestamps if you're looking for a specific question you want to be answered. And if you're into watching the whole thing, well, maybe you should stick around and watch the entire thing, as we are going to go over a ton of content. Now, before we get started, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, and hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton. Now, let's get right into this, starting with probably the most common question that I get, and that is, can you play PT on the PS5? And the simple answer is no, it will not be backwards compatible on the PS5. It's a demo, it's been removed off of the store, so technically, unless you downloaded it a long time ago, you're not going to be able to play it anyway, even on the PS4. So that answer is out and about, guys. There is no PT access on the PS5. Next question. People are asking, what is this Accolades system? We talked about it in my last video, and now we have some more answers for you guys of exactly what Accolades are. So you'll meet players who contribute to the community and embody PlayStation's ideals. To help encourage our best members and recognize positive influences, you can anonymously give someone an accolade after an online match. The accolades you receive are displayed on your profile. So how does it all work? You can give one accolade per match. You can only give accolades to players who aren't your friends, and you can only give one accolade to the same player within 12 hours. So there are 3 different categories. We have helpful, which means generous, effective communicator, team-oriented. Then there's welcoming, accepting of others, open, friendly, and good sport, positive, honorable, respectful. So it looks like they're really trying to push people to be more helpful, more friendly, just more of a positive nature on the online landscape, as we know that it can be quite toxic depending on the game that you play, but this might just push people to be a little more positive and nicer to each other, which is always welcomed in my opinion. So this is a really cool feature, and you're going to be able to show it off on your profile, which is the biggest thing. I think that's so awesome that if you're a good guy, if you're, a helpful guy, that you're going to get that praise that you deserve, and people are going to be able to see it, that, hey, this guy is helpful, for example. So that's a big thing that has been added, and I'm glad to see that they implemented an even deeper layer to PlayStation profiles. On to our next question, and this is all about the PS5 displaying your playtime in next-gen and PS4 games. Guys, this has been a long time feature that we've all been asking for. We want to be able to see how long we've been playing a game. We want to see every aspect of it. And finally, we are getting that natively on the PlayStation. So PS5 will be able to show you even how long you played PS4 games prior to even playing them on the PS5. So you're going to know a record of just how long you've been playing everything. And I think, boy, that's a really exciting addition, because I loved that aspect on the Nintendo Switch. I love that aspect on the Xbox One. It's nice to see that PS5 is adding that, and they're supporting previous games as well. So it's a really big deal to me, and I think a lot of people are going to get excited about this. This is something nice to see. We all like to track our playtime and see how much time we've spent in each game, and just kind of look back and say, wow, I didn't know I spent that much time, or wow, that game really did take a lot of my time. So yeah, this is a feature that has been added, and it's super exciting. I'm so glad to see this. On to our next question, and does PS5 have quick resume? That's what Xbox at least calls it. And PlayStation 5 currently doesn't, but it does load up super fast. So as of right now, there's no quick resume, but I imagine there'll be an equivalent down the road. Is it the biggest deal in the world? Probably not, as games load up very, very fast. If games are booting up in under 10 seconds, how useful is quick resume? The only thing I would argue is that you'd be able to go back to exactly where you were prior to turning off your game. So no quick resume amongst many games. Obviously, if you're just playing one, you can put it in rest mode and come back to it, but there's technically no quick resume feature. Now, that's not such a big deal, as I said, because this could be implemented later on down the road, but you also have games that are booting in less than 10 seconds. So it's not necessarily the biggest loss, but it would be cool to see that added down the road. And I believe with the Control Center panel having something called the Switcher, it seems like that would be added pretty soon, I would hope so. So it's not all hope lost in quick resume being a thing. Very exciting news, so look out for that. I'm sure that'll come with an update probably relatively soon. On to our next question is, does PS5 have game presets for preferred settings and supported titles? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does. You are able to set your preferred settings, whether it be difficulty, whether it be performance mode or resolution mode, first-person view, third-person view, subtitles and audio. There's just so many different options here, and if you're like me, usually when I boot up a game, I go to the settings, figure out what I want on, what I want off. In this case, you're not going to have to do that. It's automatically going to do it for you. You just choose it one time in your settings, and it'll be done for you. So this really is going to make things even faster for jumping into games, especially new games that you just purchased. So again, PlayStation making that convenience happen, making sure we get in our games fast and we spend more time playing rather than messing around with settings. Very exciting news. I am totally looking forward to that. On to our next question. What about the PS5 SSD storage space? Can it be upgraded? And obviously the answer is yeah, we know it can be upgraded, but it's not going to be upgradable at launch. So if you bought an SSD, a specific one just for the PS5, unfortunately, at the moment, you're not going to be able to use it. But again, I'm sure soon after, we're going to, with an upgrade to the firmware. I would imagine that's got to happen shortly after, as this was one of the features that they talked a lot about. So I wouldn't be too bummed out about that, as by the time you find your current storage space way too small, you'll probably have the ability to upgrade if you so choose to do that. On to our next question, and I've heard this one a lot, actually quite a few times, and does the PlayStation 5 support native 1440p resolution? And unfortunately, the answer to this question is no, it does not. Now, could this change? Maybe, but at the moment, it's not. The site reports that Sony representatives have revealed that native 1440p is not supported by the PS5, but users can still connect a 1440p screen to the console to play games. However, this likely means you'll receive an upscaled 1080p signal, which isn't what you want. If you're dealing with a 1440p screen, you typically want 1440p. You don't want, 1080p on 1440p. It's just going to look worse, truthfully. So, yeah, unfortunately, that is the situation there, and I guess that could change, but if it does, I'm not sure. On to our next question. How big is the SSD storage? We know that 825 gigs is what it's claimed to be, and obviously we know that system firmware, all this other stuff, takes some storage space, so that leaves us with 667.2 gigabytes of usable storage space. Now, I know some people will say, well, that's not enough, but I'm going to argue with you here. For myself, at least, I probably have 1 to 2, maximum 3 games on the go at once. Usually one's a story-driven game, another one could be a multiplayer game, and another one could be a game I jump in and out of at times. I never play 2 story-driven games at once, and I don't play like a ton of different multiplayer games. I usually have my go-to. So my chill out, play some games, then we got my story-driven game, and that's really it. I usually only have 2 games at most, but in an odd occasion, let's say I have 3, still 667.2 gigs will be adequate for me. Now, I understand not everybody's like this. Somebody might be out here saying, hey, well, I install like 10 games at once and I'm playing 10 different games on the go. Everybody's different. Unfortunately, you're going to have to work around the storage space that you are given at the moment until there is expandable storage support, and then you can go buy an SSD if you so choose to. But yeah, that answers the question right there. On to our next question, and this is, how long does the DualSense battery life last? Well, with all the haptic feedback and adaptive trigger things turned off, about 13 hours of playtime, which sounds really, really good. But when you have the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers enabled to the max strength, you're looking at about half that time with the controller on a full charge. And honestly, considering how much is in this controller and all the features that are going to be enabled, that's not so bad to look at 6 hours of playtime or 5 to 6 hours of playtime, especially if you have 2 controllers on the go where, you put one in the docking station, you pick the other one up each time you rotate. Hey, it's like car tires. So lastly, we are going to cover backwards compatibility, and obviously this is a big question for a lot of us. How good is backwards compatibility support? And we all know this, that Digital Foundry did a video today, and it is absolutely incredible. They really praised the backwards compatibility, said it was almost more robust than the Xbox Series backwards compatibility features, which is quite impressive considering that Sony didn't really, praise their backwards compatibility features. They kind of just said they have it, and then I guess turns out it's a lot better than people expected. But what does this all entail, right? We got a lot of games on a PS4. How much is it supported? What does it all do? The PS5 backwards compatibility on Sony's new system is not a system-selling feature, and this is why. PS4 titles running on your PS5 will only receive significant optimization and performance boosts once they have been patched to support that feature. For example, Days Gone was patched, and this is now why the game will run at 4K 60 FPS on PS5, but many third-party games and even some Sony first-party games haven't received these updates, meaning that this kind of performance, frame rate, and resolution cannot be reached on those titles. So as long as the developers are supporting it, the publishers are supporting their games, yeah, it can definitely take advantage of the PS5's extra horsepower, and when it does make a big difference. Obviously, we have frames per second that can be capped, we have resolutions that can be capped by the developer, and if they so choose to do that, then obviously it'll be a drawback. So there are limitations there, but when taken advantage of, it works very, very well. And you can look across PSU.com, Push Square, Digital Foundry, who did a great video really explaining it, that yes, the backwards compatibility functionality, in a complete sense, is very good as long as developers take advantage of it. So it's not going to just happen on its own. They need to put out a patch that will allow them to do that, which makes sense, right? So that wraps it up. Those are all the answers I have for those specific questions. If I didn't get to a question that you have that might be super specific, please let me know in the comments. I will address them as best I can. And of course, on November 12th, I'm going to be doing a big video unboxing both editions of the PS5 console, and I'll be addressing every single question that I possibly can on that community post that I made. So if you haven't asked a question yet, you can also go over on there, leave it, and I'm going to definitely go over it in the video, really hitting every single question on the list. So please let me know in the comments if you do have any questions. Now, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, hit the like button, it helps the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter, link will be in the description, and share this video with a friend. I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care.